get up and act like I'm a guard that can move his feet. So what are you gonna do? I'm gonna play him, coach, but you lose. Okay, when am I gonna have the opportunity to play LeBron?
Exactly.
And prove to myself that I still got something in the tank.
Exactly.
If I score 1 point, I'll talk my shit.
Exactly.
If it was 10-1 in the game, I'm still gonna celebrate. You know why? Because I'm gonna be like, I scored a point on this clown.
Please,
right?
No,
he can't guard me.
No. Even if it was 10-0, either if I blocked his shot or got a steal.
Yep, stripped him a little bit, or made him have to go left when he,
Yep.
we know we wanted to spin right. Nah, man, like
you're not gonna be able to talk me out. No.
Or he missed. It took 20 minutes to win versus 5. Look, man, he tall. What are you gonna do?
It's funny you bring that up because even now, like my son right now, along with being too humble, there's a false sense of humility too and everything. And I have to tell my son on a regular basis, and I know he's starting to figure this out. Like when people give him compliments on his game, people give him compliments in the classroom, or whatever it may be, or when he shocks somebody, especially in the classroom. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a football player. African American people think he's a dumb jock anyway. But when he does good in class, and I'm like, dude, you put the work in. You did the work. Whether it's in the classroom, whether it's on the football field, and somebody come pay you a compliment, take it for what it's worth. Don't sit there and be like, nah, because he said, but Dad, I just don't want to get lazy with it. I said, you're not going to get lazy with it. I said, because 1, I don't see you being lazy with it. 2, you got enough people in your life that will not allow you to get lazy with it. That's it. That goes back to the point what you're saying about having the people surround you, that when those voices will start playing in your head, you got to have somebody to talk you out of that. But it's like a lot of times, it's like even the voices in our head just totally disregards, I put the work in. Why not me? Why can I not be successful?
Because we've been trained to listen to the negative and not trained to really understand ourselves and what's in us in a positive manner. So, I say this all the time. If you celebrate birthdays or Christmas and you're out there listening right now, I guarantee you everybody remembers the thing they didn't get. But they don't remember the thousands of things they got.
Yeah.
Well, why? Because we've been trained to watch the negative so much. Think about it. I go on social media and I see my best friends on a 3rd trip in a year, and my family hasn't been on 1 trip. What is that telling me as a dad? I'm a failure.
Ooh.
I'm a failure. If my best friend growing up went to Disney World 3 times and I didn't go to Disney World till I was 15 years old, and I only went once because my grandparents paid for it, how do I look at my parents? What's wrong with y'all? How come Johnny's been to Disney 5 times? They go every summer. Here's what's missing from that conversation and that information that you need. This is why I say don't judge a book by its cover. Johnny's parents, their brother, the uncle, lives in Orlando. So I'm staying at my uncle's house for free. So all I gotta do is come up with the money to go to Disney and the Universal. If my parents go down to Disney World, it's gonna cost us $2,000 to find a room to stay in for a week, which means that's $2,000 less. I can get cotton candy. I can get an extra pass to go here, an extra pass to go there. So a lot of times, what's missing from the conversation is the facts. And that's what it is with your brain. Your brain is a computer. Your brain is going to throw things into files. And what does a computer do? It runs on an algorithm. It runs on an understanding of, I need my Microsoft Doc file. Boom. I need my Google file. Boom. The computer's not going to take those files and start putting them in more files. That's what you have to do as a human. You have to make new folders and organize it, right? So the same way we get racism, where something bad happened to you, and shout out to the dude with the chair down in Montgomery. That shit was hilarious.
Yes.
One of my boys was like, "Yo, you would have protected them." I said, "Nah, man." I said, "I'm gonna be honest with you right now." I said, "I know I'm a white man, and I know I would. My first instinct would be to go whoop them other white dudes for what they did." But I said, "I know, in the heat of the battle, all you're gonna see is another white dude coming. You're not gonna go, this guy's a good one."
Exactly.
I'm gonna get hit with a damn chair, and I'll be like, "All I was doing was trying to help."
That's one time you want to keep your
that's the one time I turn into Homer and I go back in the bushes, right? Like nothing to see here, right? But it's the same thing with race, right? If I have people put it in my head that certain people and certain cultures are bad, I've never experienced it, but I've been told it, so my computer or brain will automatically make a judgment.
Exactly.
If I know that white people are always racist, because I had experience with some white people that were racist, so out of the
and that's all I experienced.
750 million white people on this earth, all of them are racist. Then why would I give you a shot? Because my brain is telling me not to trust you.
Or like even what we face with today, with cops.
Yeah.
If all you dealt with is just bad cops, you miss the good ones that come along. You know, because I dealt with that even when I first moved out here, when I first started coaching, and one of my players, one of his parents was a cop. Oh, you're an asshole. Because that's all I dealt with, asshole cops.
Yeah.
And everything. Until I got to know this person and everything like that. And I'm like, hold on for a second. All cops are not bad. But I get what you're saying. What you're programmed with.
Yeah, so we're programming ourselves to deal with that imposter syndrome, to deal with the negativity in our lives and all the decisions we make. And because there's feelings attached to it, it makes it 10,000 times worse. Because that feeling of failure, that feeling of inadequacy, that feeling of being an imposter, that feeling of I don't deserve what I'm getting, right? But I deserve this, but I don't deserve this, right? And that lack of understanding and reprogramming yourself, and this is why, you know, we're going to the end of the podcast. This is why I would love to have a psychologist on. You know, we got to find a psychologist out there. I mean, I have a psych degree, but I'm not a psychologist. Work with people who are crazy, but I got my own issues, right? So the thing about it is, like, you know, the goal is to introduce this topic, tell everybody out there struggling, we hear you, we're right there with you. These are the stressors. How do we get out of it? Well, just this 40-minute conversation makes me feel like there's hope. Yeah. Right? Doesn't mean that when I get home and I'm with my own thoughts that I'm not going to have to. But now it's time to reprogram the brain to realize, like, you know, that's why it's important to have something to fall back on besides your own thoughts. Right? I know that no matter how bad it is, God got me. Yep. Right? There is a way out. It may be hard, it may be difficult, I may have to put the work in, but there's a way out of whatever I'm going through.
My wife accuses me half the time of being nonchalant about stuff. And I'm like, the reason why it's come across as being nonchalant, the fact I don't care, I know that God has me. And that much I can, what's the Bible teaching? Me worrying or anything is not going to add anything to the situation but make it worse.
Listen, and I'm the opposite. I'm a warrior, man. I don't know if I should have done that, and I'm a second guesser, which is the worst thing to be. But I always say, like, I remember, you know, growing up and going to like Bible study, Bible camp, all this stuff, right? And you get, and I remember the two people, there's three people in the Bible that I related to the most. It was Samson, letting other people decide and dictate your life. Okay, cut your hair, you look much better without, you know, knowing that person doesn't care nothing about that. They do, you know, they want it for whatever they're right. Jonah, because I keep on, you know, far side, can't keep running away. I run. And Peter, because I know what I'm supposed to do, but in the moment, now I don't know him. Because what was I taught? Hey, listen, if you see some shit, you don't know it. Mind your business.
Exactly. You know? Or I can relate to the Peter one of being impulsive.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely impulsive. It's that September birthday, baby. The Virgos and the Libras at night.
Yep, exactly.
Because, you know, and I'm a Libra, so it's funny. It's funny, the scales. And see, my daughter and my wife are Virgos
also.
Yeah, crazy. and Libras, we're like we're like bipolar, right? Because if the scale's off, man, we are off. Like the scale has to be so balanced, and it's crazy because, you know, just talking about this topic, I hope everybody relates to it. You know, but we're gonna end this topic, but
this is one topic we definitely gonna have to do like a part 2 or part 3.
But I also think it's a life is a journey. Your journey's not over because you're in your 40s or 50s, right? Also, I think this is important. This is an important moment for me to also say you got to get out there and talk to people. You know, you can find a psychologist, a therapist. And you need to get out and you need to talk to somebody, even for 45 minutes a week, because you got to work through your problems. Because you have to realize, like, listen, this is true. I always feel like a failure. And it doesn't matter. I get my master's degree, still feel like, man, I ain't got nothing to show for it. And I was telling you, the one reason, I don't want to say the one reason, that's a bad, one of the many reasons why I love teaching and I love coaching is because a good teacher and a good coach doesn't get you to the championship. They get you to win at life.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, winning the championship is great, but if the kids you lead don't learn life skills,
winning championship
it's just an empty memory.
Winning champion is just in the moment. It goes back to that story, whatchamacallit, a fisherman. You could catch the fish for the dude, he's only gonna eat that one time. But you teach him how to fish, he's gonna eat for a lifetime.
And that's and I think that's this podcast itself, and this is a little bit more of a reflection. Mm-hmm. This podcast itself isn't meant to just be fun and games. Is, you know, we want people to think, we want people to act, we want people to get better. And if it takes, you know, I always say this, if it took me messing up my whole entire life with certain things for my kids to be better off, mm-hmm. then I accept that. Yeah. Now, what I wouldn't want is for me to make all the mistakes, and then I turn around to my kids and make an exact same. I'm not talking about making mistakes in general, because mm-hmm. some mistakes that I made, that's just being a human being. Yep. But there's some things you create a habit. Mm-hmm. And so be real. Be real with yourself. Be real with each other, and communicate and get some help, whether it be from a significant other, a friend. Don't always hang around with like-minded people.
I can dispute you on that one part. Sometimes from your significant other may not be the best thing because they know you too well.
Yeah. And you also hurt them, so they're going to hurt you.
Yeah,
and they're going to use that.
Exactly.
But what I mean is,
I'm not saying just don't totally disregard it.
No, but what I mean is this. Like, I will honestly say, once you hit a certain level in a relationship, it's not the same. Growing in a relationship, you're going to have those ups and downs. You're going to have those battles. You're going to have those emotional fallouts. You're going to have is this worth it? Mm-hmm. I'm leaving. No, I'm leaving. You know, the old makeups or breakups, mm-hmm. right? But when you hit a certain point in your relationship, you start realizing that person, even though it had emotion attached to it, they weren't coming from a hateful place. They were trying to get you to see, mm-hmm. right? And so now what's interesting is, like, I can only speak on me and my wife, but me and my wife, like, there's things that she is not good at and I'm really good at. Mm-hmm. And then there's things that I'm really not good at that she's very good at. Mm-hmm. And so it's those moments of, like, you know, it's sort of like the old iron sharpens iron. Mm-hmm. Once you get into a certain spot in your relationship, iron sharpens iron. You start to realize that the emotion attached to it, get away from the emotion, mm-hmm. and listen to what the person's actually saying, right? And in the moment when you're hurt people hurt people. Yep. So we usually lash back with something mm-hmm. that's even worse than what they said, mm-hmm. because all we heard was the emotion attached to it. Yep. But the reason why I say that is because once you get past the emotion of what a person's saying, those voices in your head will be a lot more clearer and less attached to something that made you feel bad, because now you can discern. Now you can discern the difference between emotion and just reaction, mm-hmm. and actual attention to an issue that's there. Does that make sense? Am I explaining it? Okay, so that's sense. You know, so people out there, if you listen to this conversation, know you're always going to go through those battles. Mm-hmm. Know that when there's a blessing, there's always going to be, I won't say a curse, but there's always going to be the enemy, the opposition coming to say you can't do something. Mm-hmm. When you want to step out and show the world who you are, there's going to be somebody that's going to say you can't. Yep. Or you know, they're not ready. Mm-hmm. And all you're doing is you're really blocking your blessing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so these voices in your head will screw you up if you don't get an understanding of what they are and discern what they're trying to tell you. And are they good voices or are they negative voices? They're just bring you down, mm-hmm. and keep you from taking what's yours, basically. Yep. And this shit just happens, man. It's life, right? So in the end, just reach out to people, get the help you need. Understand that I think we're all the same. Mm-hmm. You know, you hear professional athletes, professional musicians, professional actors and actresses, people that are way more advanced in a lot of spaces. Their self-doubt, they creep in, loneliness. You have people that are committing suicide, killing families and mm-hmm. themselves because they probably feel this way and they don't know how to talk about it. Yep. And so,
or they feel there's shame in talking about it.
Yeah, and there's no shame in it because listen, if I didn't come on with Coach Barry